Alright, so I played a game recently called Timespinner. I think this game made me realize that I might like Metroidvanias, and that's considering the fact that I really dislike both Metroid and Castlevania. Weird, huh? Anyway, Timespinner is quite enjoyable, although suffers from design decisions which hold it back. A lot. But still, it's pretty good, once the beginning part is done. What's it about? Time travel. I give up trying to explain the story. Look it up if you care, I did not. Just one thing to keep in mind, there are two states a player goes through, the current time, which has everything taken over by the big bad, and the millennia ago, which still has adorable animals running around and medieval times about. What did I enjoy? Well, I liked the Metroidvania aspect. Man, I feel dirty saying that, like I just admitted like in Dota. Ew. Or Canon Russian. Basically the same thing. Disgusting. Anyway. This game has very few parts of it which are locked behind story. The player is very much free to explore on their own and figure out the way forward. Due to the fact that there is a time stop mechanic, certain unavailable places can still be reached by hopping on frozen enemies, or keeping platforms in place, or whatever else. The game is definitely full of this "I wonder if this works" kind of aspect. I just wanted to see if I can go everywhere, jumping again and again, feeling like I'm back to the NES era. Especially because enemies get collision damage. Boy, did I not miss that. How does an adorable bird do damage just by touching me? Whatever. Another thing about Metroidvania here is the fact that the player gets convenient teleports. The map is really full of those. Very generous placement, and it also made me feel better about exploring, since I could easily make it back wherever I was. The time control aspect is actually a pretty cool part of the game too. Like I said, it aids in exploration, but obviously there is also a combat aspect, and an ability to walk through an area without having to deal with annoying enemies. But then there is the dual map aspect as well. This was actually something I blanked on, taking me forever to realize it. The maps are actually of the exact same place, and the start is this horrible, desolate wasteland filled with hostile robots bent on attacking everyone and everything, while the past has a river going through that same place. But it's not just that. Certain actions in the past also unlock stuff in the present. Like the main story one, stopping the big bad's minions from doing their thing, so in the present the force field dissipates. There are also some minor things, but I'd leave it unsaid. It was pretty cool to discover what does and does not work on my own. Also, another thing to praise is the fact that I suck at this game, and at no point I actually got stuck. I've beaten it no problemo, because there are vendors who sell consumables. Platforming wasn't awfully difficult, and I could just eat a whole all-you-can-eat buffet in the middle of a fight, like I was in Skyrim. Granted, it's not free, but getting the cash isn't awfully difficult, and Cheat Engine is always there. Really, anyone on PC should just get acquainted with Cheat Engine. Makes life so much easier. Still, I'd say there are glaring flaws. What did I dislike? Most important part, the beginning. That start flat out sucks, and it sucks a lot. It starts slow, it starts painful, with enemies which take far too long to kill and are a huge pain in the butt to bypass because they are just a little too fat to jump over safely most of the time, and it's unclear where does one even go. And enemies respawn when changing screens, just like NES. It was so horrible I tried 3 or 4 times to just start the game. I thought that was it, just this annoying slog through endless robots in this confusing maze of a world. When the time stop mechanic happened, I just got a little bit more interested. But then I finally got to the past and the whole game finally opened before me. This part, although I admit it's short, it's so horrible and annoying that it was very close to turning me away from the game completely. The only reason I tried it again is because I just finished another game and wanted to take my mind off of it. By any means necessary. Even if it meant annoying myself. Anyway, it sucks. Really, really sucks. Just stick through the beginning. Aside from that, the enemies are kind of annoying in general. I don't know what it is. I mean, I know I'm not great at platformers, but I assume there is a skill level I've got, which would mean I'm not completely awful. I got hit so many times in this game. Holy crap, our enemies fat. And it's like the player hitbox is about 3 times as big as it looks, and the player attack range is like half of what it seems. It took so long to get a hang of dodging enemy attacks. I could dodge like a bastard in Awesome Nuts, sometimes winning a fight 1 on 3. Beat the highest difficulty of Risk of Rain bunch of times, but these barely moving robots in Timespinner for some reason kept hitting me again and again. It feels so unforgiving, and it doesn't seem like there's actually a good reason for that. although the damage they deal kinda does suck. It's just the dodging is a pain. It's also not always clear whenever something is actually possible to dodge, because that's a thing. That's where time stop comes in. Feels unfair, moving on. Story is also... I feel like they're trying to give this shades of grey morality to everything, but I guess the writing isn't the greatest, and yeah, I just did not care. But I would just like to mention that there are friendly NPCs and there are quests. Not just 2 or 3, but a handful. And they just feel like MMO quests, which got kill 5 enemies, collect 2 items, yada yada yada. And that could have been more, but yeah, whatever, unimportant. It's just, it's there if you want some variety. It's not just exploration, you can talk to people as well. And also another thing, there are no checkpoints. This might not be huge, but it's something easy to forget. I've had at least 3 times when I've lost 20 minutes of progress, maybe more. Just poof, gone. It's something easy to fix with just a trip to a save point, but, and by the way, you can only save at those. Just can't save in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, easy to forget. And it can be infuriating. I definitely put the game down a few times because of such failure states. So it might sound like more negatives than positive, which is true, but I believe what's important is still there and it still works well. It's just the fact that there are problems and I can't completely ignore those. Oh, and I'm not sure it even works with a keyboard. I mean, it does, but the game, again, wasn't intended to be used with that. So there are obvious issues like inability to use a mouse. This feels like such a common issue with these games that I almost forgot about it. Whatever.